Good evening, Galactic Jedis, Freedom Fighters, and Patriots. Today is the 27th of October, and if I'm not mistaken, we are still on a positive timeline trajectory. No, I'm not mistaken. But I always get the names wrong. Not the names, what am I thinking? The dates. So, yeah, it is 2025, and it is still a beautiful trajectory based on what I was able to gather. The Y hats are in phase four, as mentioned, and with what I'm about to share today, you guys are going to be blown away, especially with the fact that Hillary has a warrant for her arrest. I don't know if you guys know that, but yeah, there's so much that has transpired in the last few days, and you guys are going to love the update that I have for you today. Now, for those that don't know me, my name is Ishmael Perez. I'm the author of those two amazing books behind me, The Secret Government, Invisible Architects, and Our Cosmic Origin, both which restore suppressed information back to the Earth. And I also wanted to thank you guys for being here, especially Starcadian for monitoring my chat. Thank you so much, Starcadian, for always showing up on time and making sure that we keep the chat in a high vibration without any NPCs trying to ruin it. In either case, before I get started, I wanted to remind you guys that I do have an address for my November 22nd event. I know some of you guys have been asking me, where is it going to be held? Well, it's going to be held at the Cielo Connection on a Saturday from 1 to 4 p.m. I'm going to be giving, for the first time, an in-depth lecture on our Cosmic Origin 2.0, which is a class that I'm not going to release for another year until the publication of my next book. So I'm going to be revealing new galactic history and cosmic history and new information that I have never shared before, actually. For those that make my workshop in person, the address is 25 Harmony Drive, Sedona, Arizona, 86336. Not to mention, my lovey's going to be there doing some crystal work on your aura and energetic healing. And with that have said, really quick, for those that cannot make it in person, I do have a stream, but that is only limited to 100 people. So if you guys want to get in on next level, our cosmic origin, breaking down the entire cosmic infrastructure that has been enhanced with new information, go to my website, ourcosmicorigin.com, and make sure you guys get the stream at least. For those that can't make it in person, it is going to be a 3-hour stream. You guys are going to get a full class for the price of a class, $100. All right, go to my website to access the stream. All right. Oh, and one last thing, the Folium product. There is a high demand for this removal of nanoparticulates, graphene, parasites, radiation, allowing the natural healing process of the body to take place. There is a high demand, and right now, the holistic scientist who developed it, Barbary Oren, has informed me that he's got a special regarding the Immuna, and that is this one right here. If you guys buy 2 of these, you get 1 free. You save $100. So the link is always in the description. Don't forget to get your Folium. After all, guys, they are blasting us through the chemtrails with the MR, if you guys know what I'm talking about, all right? So they are already just making sure that everybody gets that through the air, just by breathing the air. So make sure you get your Folium so you can have your defense against those, nasty little robots that want to invade your body. All right, with no further ado, let's get right into it. So, the title, I'm going to start by revealing what's been happening within the last 72 hours. This is a confidential briefing report that I was able to access that actually took place within the last few days, but the report was actually printed or published today on the 27th of October 2025. So in a major escalation of behind the scenes military operations, sources aligned with the White Hat Alliance have confirmed that the military air traffic over the United States has tripled in the last 72 hours. And you guys are probably thinking, why is this happening? Well, these flights are not training exercises, all right? They are part of an unprecedented operation to dismantle the final layer of the globalist frequency control grid. Well, highly specialized aircraft that has been equipped with advanced electromagnetic spectrum sensors are actually being used to deploy across major population centers, flying patterns that correlate directly with known communication infrastructure. And their mission is to detect and disable unregistered frequency networks that have been uncovered to be used for covert surveillance by the deep state and psychological manipulation, and of course, atmospheric mind control. Well, if you thought that those 5 Gulf towers, if you guys know what I mean, where they're just there for 5G internet connection, well, guess again. Well, recently discovered files by the White Hats from underground data servers in Washington, D.C., have actually blown open the true scope of this system. According to classified intelligence, a private consortium backed by defense contractors and foreign intelligence groups operated a global frequency grid designed to influence human emotional states and behavior using pulsed atmospheric signals. Where do you guys think these pulsed atmospheric signals were being directed from? Yeah, all those towers, all those fake trees. Think about it. So, this electromagnetic manipulation network was layered into the communication towers, satellite relays, and of course, 5 Gulf infrastructures in nearly every major country, all disguised as routine telecom expansion. Well, the goal was not faster communication as they portray, right? But subtle psychological control through targeted low frequency electromagnetic waves. Well, these files detailed a blueprint for emotional engineering, inducing fear in the masses, suppressing critical thinking. And I was informed that they actually used this heavily back in 2019 when they rolled out at the end of 2019, where they rolled out that in order to get people to not think beyond what they were telling us about that. All right. And they also have been using it to increase polarization, okay, and drive population level mood swings beyond the wall, all activated remotely through modulated signal burst buried in wireless system. Well, this grid that was apparently installed by the cabal is now being dismantled, and it has been within the last 72 hours. Again, I was able to access this highly classified document this morning. According to internal Space Force documents, systematic shutdowns of these rogue frequency networks had begun in key regions. These shutdowns are not limited to U.S. soil. Reports from Europe and Asia have also confirmed parallel operations in progress. In Germany, military contractors disguised as telecom crews have been seen rewiring government towers under the cover of infrastructure maintenance. In South Korea and parts of Eastern Europe, state-owned towers are being retrofitted with shielding equipment to block non-authorized signals. Well, this is part of phase 4, taking down the old grid, especially the grids that are bombarding us with these negative frequencies, completely inducing emotional states of depression and all kinds of negative behavior in the masses, in the populace. So this is the final phase, okay? A source within the operation said, quote, "We're tearing out the last atmospheric nodes of control. When the reset is complete, the sky will be clean," okay? A lot of people are asking me, why are they still spraying us? Well, that's coming to an end. This is all part of this operation. The operation also ties directly into long-standing concerns over cell towers and 5G radiation. According to scientific teams embedded within the White Hats, believe it or not, guys, the White Hats have their own scientific community. These towers, especially post-2019 installations, I wonder why they installed them in 2019, right? You guys know why. Were actually co-opted to broadcast signal types outside approved bandwidths. Well, this included low vibration pulse patterns, known to interfere with natural brainwave rhythms, suppressing melatonin, right? A lot of people were complaining as to why they couldn't sleep at night. Well, it was deliberately engineered through these frequencies. Also, elevating cortisol levels, causing stress, right? Cortisol is our enemy. That's why people age and get, you guys know what I mean, right? So, it elevated cortisol levels and it also increased agitation. Well, these effects were often written as urban stress or even modern anxiety, but they were actually being intentionally broadcast according to the recovered documentation. Space Force has actually taken command, and now Space Force is taking the lead in restoring frequency integrity, not just in the States, but worldwide. Now, military satellites launched under its command are jamming all legacy manipulation signals and replacing them with secure quantum communication bands. And these secured quantum communication bands, and yes, my friends, they are going to be connected to the QFS and the quantum financial grid, which is going to be the new grid for the new golden age. These bands are immune to spoofing. They're also aligned with the human biofrequency fields, which are in resonance with the Schumann resonance, which is the natural heartbeat of the earth, right? They've been trying to kind of misalign us from that. And they're also designed to stabilize neurological health and emotional balance. Well, these quantum secure frequencies that are being installed by Space Force cannot be weaponized in the same way as the previous Cabal grid. They're actually encrypted as at the molecular level, ensuring transparency, security, and resonance with natural human consciousness. When the final phase of the frequency reset is complete, the world will feel it. There will be no stillness. It's not going to be empty, but people are going to feel a sense of peace all of a sudden. All right. People that have been emotionally agitated due to these frequencies are going to all of a sudden be freed from their mind control or emotional control. A silence that has existed in over a century, masked by digital noise, subliminal interference, and emotional fog. The silence you hear next, said one insider, quote, won't be the calm before the storm. It will be the sound of freedom. Well, this is not just the takedown of these rogue tech systems, my friends. It's the removal of the last atmospheric weapon of the old world order. And so a new era of communication is about to begin as a result of this, one built not on control, but on clarity, stability, and truth. Okay. Now, this actually also corresponds with another document that was, I believe, published by the Gazetteller news form, which is an alternative media or alternative form news, you could say. Anyways, it's an alternative network for news. That's what it is. And so they actually back this up. Okay. According to the Gazetteller, Trump's new White House ballroom is actually destroying the Freemasonic control grid in Washington, D.C., which is a 200-year, which was 200 years of elite ritual power lines, Masonic foundation channels, and even occult architecture. They're all being shut down for good. And this pentagram, I don't know if you guys know, but there is a huge pentagram that draws across the entire layout of the Pentagon, the White House, and the Capitol Hill. Okay. And this pentagram was actually installed by the Masons that were infiltrated by the Bavarian Illuminati. So it's not just symbolic, all right? It was embedded with surgical accuracy by the original planners, most of whom were connected to the European infiltrated Freemasonic lodges and, of course, the Jesuit order. It actually links key government buildings into a sigil that charges itself through population energy, trauma events, and ritual sacrifice hidden behind flags and ceremonies. Well, now, during this month, October 2025, That grid is under direct assault. Okay. Trump's new White House ballroom was actually placed with precision and not on a whim, but as a counter sigil. Military engineers from Space Force classified geomagnetic division coordinated with the QFS military wing, and their mission is to break the flow. So, um, when played, I guess, with this new grid, as they deactivate the old, it actually activates your quantum signature and links it up to the gold backed reserves legally assigned to everyone's name through birth record tracking. And this is how you begin reclaiming the wealth that was stolen from you by syncing your energy with the system that was built to return it. So you see that lower triangle of the pentagram, right, which is underneath the monuments in Washington. That's the White House at the base. Okay, the White House is actually located right at the base of that pentagram. Well, the new ballroom cuts through the ley lines that run between the White House and the lower southern edges of the sigil, disrupting the flow of the grid's energy cycle. The field has apparently changed, and people are actually measuring it. Okay, ground penetrating radar picked up ancient Masonic foundation channels beneath the south lawn, and they've been there for over 200 years, uh, which has now been compromised by the White Hats. Thank God. Well, the elites, depending on those who had been depending on those lines, right, the pentagram, which is a symbol of Satan, that's how they were able to broadcast their dominance. Every building inside the pentagram operates like a circuit component. The IRS headquarters, for example, was sited on the upper western point, and that's the extraction node, spiritually tied to Saturnian control and debt enslavement. Well, the Capitol is the innovation chamber. The Washington Monument, directly south of the White House, is the phallic obelisk, the phallic, representing the uh, patriarchy dominance of the planet, right? The phallus, you know what a phallus is, obelisk. The same design stolen from ancient Egypt when the Luciferian draconian control of the planet took over the affairs of our world. Well, that is the same design stolen that was actually implemented by the infiltrated Masonic lodges that were apparently infiltrated by the Jesuits and the Bavarian Illuminati. Okay. And it has been acting as an energetic tower between the material and the spiritual, conducting rituals for over 200 years. And now Trump's ballroom is rerouting the flow of energy entirely. It's reinforced with um, new metal shielding to block residual magnetic influence. It also contains a subterranean command core housing one of the housing one of the quantum financial systems terrestrial nodes, operating independently from the SWIFT Bank, the Bank of International Settlements, and of course the Vatican's banking overlays. And its angle is 5 degrees off the Freemasonic lattice, and that angle was actually intentional. It collapsed the entire axis of that symmetry, and since construction started, black site contractors around Washington, D.C. have been reporting malfunctions in underground fiber and electromagnetic field instability. Thank God. Naval observatory sensors have also logged 2 field fluctuations between October 13th to the 19th, and that was not a coincidence. All right, this was part of pretty much diverting the energy, right? And that's the grid unraveling. And this is part of the broader operation to decouple DC from the Jesuit, Vatican, London triad. And if you guys read my book, you guys probably would know, right? The secret government, that the 3 cities that were heavily embedded for centuries under the control of the cabal, at least for 200 years, right? Since they infiltrated our government, was what? Washington, D.C., the city of London, and of course, Vatican City. Well, the city of London has always been the financial arm of the globalists. Washington, D.C. was the military, and of course, the Vatican City was the spiritual control arm. And so, they were private, you could say, jurisdictional nodes forming a pyramid of power above nation states. DC was their military and ritual engine, and that engine is now failing thanks to the Y hats. And here is the real kicker, my friends. Ready? Military insiders confirmed that since the ballroom broke ground, ritual lodges in DC have ceased meetings. All right, their meetings have ended. 3 Masonic temples canceled their annual events without explanation. The Scottish Rite building near 16th Street has gone silent. The Pentagon's own internal lodge is no longer registering floor access logs. So Trump isn't just remodeling the White House. He's actually deconstructing the entire oldest ritual site that was built by the cabal on American soil in the form of the pentagram. And he's actually turning the core of the old world order power matrix into a quantum war bunker, not just for himself, but for the restored republic. So, and people are sensing that something is different in DC as a result of this. Wildlife patterns are actually acting strange near the ellipse. Frequencies are different. Reports from remote viewers who were once trained under Project Stargate protocols are saying that the city's aura has been shifted, all right, towards the light. It's no longer dense, right? The energy no longer feels the way it did in the last 200 years. In other words, part of the dismantling of the old grid is also dismantling the pentagram that was connecting all the Washington monuments. There is more. There is more. You guys are going to love this part. Well, Trump's deconstructing of the oldest ritual site on American soil. He's also turning the core of the old world's order power matrix into a quantum war bunker, not just for himself, but for the restored republic. If you guys could give me a second, I'm going to shout out for some water. All right, let's continue here. So, this is fascinating. So apparently the grid is breaking down, the old guard. Now, this next report is coming from Kash Patel, the FBI director, who is actually leading the white hat takedown of what is known as massive NBA mafia gambling rings. And you guys should know this too. Thank you so much for the water. Appreciate that. Well, those servers that were the bridge between, I'm still going to drink the rest of that green tea. Thank you. Those servers that were the bridge between underground mafia gambling systems and digital hedge funds have been operating under climate, sports, and entertainment portfolios. Terry Rosier's case was the trigger point. Evidence has shown that he deliberately left the game after 9 minutes, while more than $200,000 was waged on his performance metrics by individuals connected to a coded consortium known as the internally Layer 7. Interesting. Well, documents were seized from Layer 7's encrypted drives by the White Hats, revealing detailed insider information about game outcomes, player health, and even substitution rotations, data that could only have come from within the NBA's analytics department. So yeah, guys, the National Basketball Association was created by the cabal, and it's very corrupt. Okay, what is that noise? Can you bring the cats to the room or something? They're making a little too much noise. Thank you. Chansey Billups was actually linked through underground poker networks that used high-frequency card scanners and digital child trait analyzers repurposed from retired military imaging equipment. The FBI's tech division confirmed that these devices carried firmware signatures belonging to a defense subcontractor previously associated with Raytheon's Visual Systems program. The technology used to read cards through felt tables came from the same inventory list that once supplied battlefield reconnaissance drones. The connection between defense technology and gambling points to a shadow exchange program where obsolete military tools were actually funneled into criminal hands through shell companies that were registered in Malta. Well, there is no coincidence that the Knights of Malta, right, which is an arm of the Jesuit order, were the ones that pretty much developed all the world mafias, including the Cosa Nostra. Also, they were connected to Cyprus and the British Virgin Islands. The flow of those assets traces back to corporate funds that were once managed by global entertainment conglomerates and Wall Street groups that dominate professional sports sponsorships. And this is why I don't believe in sports, all right? If you guys read my book, The Secret Government, there is a whole chapter that I dedicated to the protocols of the learned elders of Zion. And in those 24 protocols, they literally stated how they were going to create entertainment for the purpose of diverting the attention while they were busy creating their one world government, new world order, okay? In a stunning and unprecedented move, FBI Director Kash Patel, operating under the directions of the White Hat Alliance, has announced the dismantling of one of the largest illegal gambling networks in modern U.S. history. Kash Patel's internal report outlines that the gambling ring operated as a financial wash mechanism. So the money moved from global hedge portfolios through betting pools into offshore sports analytic firms and back into blue chip investment accounts. Each step transformed black funds into legitimate profit, hidden behind the public facade of game statistics and athlete endorsements. Every point scored, every injury, every substitution became a coded transaction inside $1 billion laundering circuit. Investigators uncovered links to former European banking executives connected to the Rothschild investment umbrella and an Italian-based holding company that used historically to manage Vatican art and real estate funds. The same network appeared in classified financial investigations connected to the collapsing of the Credit Suisse. How do you pronounce that word? The Credit Suisse and the Deutsche Bank's restructuring. These connections indicate that organized crime was not working alone. It actually functioned as the operational arm of a global elite financial structure that relies on entertainment markets to circulate hidden wealth. Well, internal FBI correspondence references a secondary target, the data management firms contracted by ESPN, which is that sports network, DraftKings, and various sports betting platforms. Kash Patel's task force confirmed that several of these companies shared server clusters with offshore algorithmic trading hubs. The data between them moved in synchronized patterns, allowing gambling trends to predict and influence stock fluctuations in real time. This means sports betting odds were actually being used as signals for market manipulation. So apparently, according to this report, every sport is rigged. So it doesn't matter who wins the World Series, guys. It's already planned who wins, okay? And people are buying into this. It's like fake wrestling, okay? A system designed by intelligence-connected financiers to hide capital transfers behind random-seeming sports movements. President Trump's administration has quietly been dismantling these global financial corridors. Since February, the DOJ's SilverNet operation has been tracing networks that use culture and entertainment as money pipelines. Not to mention, it's a good way to divert the masses from what's really going on. The NBA takedown that just happened, thanks to Kash Patel, is the first open strike against a network that runs through Hollywood. Hollywood is next, and the music industry and the digital advertising empires that are tied to social media data collection. The operation, which had been under deep cover surveillance for years, uncovered a sprawling system of coordinated corruption between professional NBA players, coaching staffs, team insiders, and several powerful mafia crime families operating in the US and abroad. According to Kash Patel, the investigation, which spun 11 states and involved dozens of joint task force operatives, has so far resulted in more than 30 arrests, with officials confirming that further indictments are imminent. The probe, known internally as Operation Full Court Press, revealed a deeply entrenched structure where high stakes betting game manipulation and encrypted financial laundering intersected at the highest levels of sports entertainment. And this wasn't just about gambling. According to Kash Patel, it was about using a beloved institution as a tool to funnel illicit funds, to rig outcomes, and move criminal capital under the cover of entertainment. So, in other words, in every sport, not just in the NBA, we see this corruption, right? We see this connection to the mafia. The FBI's breakthrough came after intelligence analysis detected unusual betting patterns that were linked to NBA player performance metrics, especially around injury timeouts, even those were staged, sudden substitutions, and in-game point swings. And as I speak, I think the World Series is happening right now, right? These patterns were found to be synchronized with offshore betting surges, often just minutes before major shifts occurred on the court. Well, the investigation escalated when a whistleblower from an unnamed Eastern Conference franchise turned over internal communication logs showing coaching staff discussing player usage based on betting odds, not athletic strategy. Wow. Wow. Under Patel's directive, the Hat aligned FBI unit deployed digital forensics teams, undercover agents, and financial surveillance analysts to trace communications and money trails. And what they found was a sophisticated ring involving encrypted burner apps, military-grade crypto wallets, and shell corporations registered in the Caribbean, Italy, and Hong Kong. Well, perhaps most shocking was the confirmed involvement of at least 3 major crime families, including affiliates of the Gambinos, which is Cosa Nostra Italian mafia, the Colombos, and even the outfit syndicates, all of which use NBA-linked betting to clean money flowing from narcotics, arms deals, and dark web markets. I'm telling you guys, the Wyatts are cleaning house. Wow. These families maintain direct contacts with certain team insiders, including retired player turned executives, low-level coaching personnel, and even agents representing high-profile athletes. In some cases, players were compensated with under-the-table crypto transfers, and in others, threats and coercion were used to force outcomes. Well, the bigger picture is this. What started off as a criminal probe into game fixing by the Wyatts has revealed something far more dangerous. A network of influence that used professional sports as a cultural shield to normalize corruption, redirect capital, and maintain control over financial ecosystems that were hidden from the public view. The MBA was being used as a shell, said one of the federal agents that was involved in this takedown. Quote, this is what he said. What people saw on the surface, which was the games, the scores, the drama, was only the entertainment layer. Beneath it was an intelligence level money circuit tied to global syndicates. Director Kash Patel confirmed that this investigation is part of a larger multi-agency operation targeting not just organized crime, but also the global entertainment industry's role in financial manipulation and cultural engineering. So apparently, there are more arrests to come. The Department of Justice has opened sealed indictments that could actually implicate additional players, league officials, and even corporate sponsors, depending on ongoing data extraction from seized devices and financial accounts. Kash Patel emphasized that this is only the first wave and that no one is above the law. If you knowingly rigged outcomes, according to him, I'm going to quote him, he says, if you knowingly are rigging outcomes, profiting from insider betting, or help launder money through this system, you will be found. End of quote, Kash Patel. And you will be prosecuted. End of quote. Kash Patel concluded. Well, this takedown marks a turning point, not just in the fight against organized crime, but in reclaiming integrity within American institutions long thought to be untouchable. So, as the truth comes to light, one thing is clear: the game is no longer just a game. Okay? The game is no longer just a game. Now, in addition to all of this, a new report also surfaced within the last 48 hours. Speaker of the House Mike Johnson has accused Democratic leaders of orchestrating government shutdown to appease Marxist factions, which is a highly charged statement that was issued totally by House Speaker Mike Johnson, who confirmed what many Americans had long suspected, that top Democratic leaders, including Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, conspired behind closed doors to block essential government funding, not out of ideological principle or fiscal caution, but as a calculated move to satisfy Marxist-aligned groups within their party's base. Well, according to internal sources and testimonies reviewed by Johnson's office, Democratic strategists believe that triggering a government shutdown would actually energize their radical base, even if it came at the expense of millions of working class Americans. The Marxist, right, the real communists behind the Democratic Party, the far left, are more active now than ever before, according to Mike Johnson. He stated, and the Democratic leadership has made their choice. Well, Johnson argues that it's not merely a political maneuvering. It is a psychological warfare, a campaign of intentional disruption and suffering orchestrated to create chaos and consolidate control under the banner of progress. The continuing resolution, blocked by the Democrats, the legislative measure that would have been prevented, the shutdown, was, according to Johnson, a clean version. Now, mind you guys, that even though the Democrats initiated this lockdown, the White Hats are also using this as an opportunity to clean house, okay? So every time the deep state does something, bear in mind that the alliance always counteracts it or countermeasures it. So according to Mike Johnson, this actually mirrored funding levels that were already approved by the same lawmakers earlier in the year. And what are they fighting? It is a clean, this is what Mike Johnson said, CR. He said, this isn't about money, this is about power. So, as a direct result of the shutdown, Americans are now feeling the impact across multiple sectors. Federal workers unpaid. Hundreds of thousands face missed checks. paychecks. SNAP benefits are frozen for those that were getting SNAP benefits, food stamps. They haven't gotten it, right? One out of every 8 American is affected by halting this of food assistance, which is SNAP. Also, air travel is very chaotic right now. Staffing shortages are sparking massive delays and cancellations due to the shutdown. And not to mention, public morale is deteriorating. Widespread uncertainty during a time of global instability. So, what's unfolding here, according to Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, is not accidental. It is a planned pain, as he calls it, a deliberate strategy designed to break public confidence, engineer unrest, and push the country closer to radical transformation. Well, while elite lawmakers meet in secure rooms, shielded from the fallout of their own actions, everyday Americans are being left in the dark, both figuratively and literally. Well, Johnson's warning is very clear. This is not a simple policy dispute, he says. It is an assault on the very framework of governance, with the working class sacrificed to feed a revolution orchestrated from within the halls of power. So, going back to Hillary's arrest, and we're not talking about the original Hillary. The original Hillary Clinton was actually taken out in 2019, I believe. Yes, she was taken to Gitmo. We're talking about the inorganic actress, right? The replacement, the one that was created in a lab, okay? Lab grown Hillary. Well, for years, she thought that she could actually hide behind her grandmaster daddy, Soros, right? And the Rockefellers. Well, her every move that was very calculated was actually masterminded by her masters. But now, the actress, the second Hillary, not the one that was taken out in 2019, is about to go down, okay? According to this report, you guys are going to love this. The White Hats within the intelligence community is actually has issued a warrant for her arrest. And according to insiders, I know when I found this document, I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. I got to share this. According to insiders, the inorganic double, and they also know it's the inorganic double, the replacement, right? Who was known as Hillary, apparently vanished a week prior to her being arrested. So Hillary, the second Hillary, is on the run. Her usual presence at global summits and foundation galas has been canceled as a result of that. And even Billy Bob Lewinsky, the cigar Lewinsky guy, once, of course, her biggest defender, is actually now gone silent and distancing himself from her, okay? The former president, Billy Bob, the cigar Lewinsky guy, had begun to speak in veiled riddles during interviews lately. The truth always has a strange way of circling back, of course, and this is what he's saying now, okay? His tone is carrying both a warning and a regret. He is spilling the beans, guys. According to insiders, Billy Bob, Cigar Lewinsky, claimed that he had aligned himself with the White Hats now, and this is why he's distancing himself from Hillary. Leaking fragments of information about the network's ties to the shadow financiers and political operatives across the globe are being confirmed by Billy Bob. Among those names, one surfaced repeatedly was the tyrant of the Middle East. All right, he goes by Netan. You guys know who I'm talking about. Well, this leader, who has long been standing as a political corrupt deep stater, right, who became intertwined with the shadow mechanisms of the Jesuits and the Bavarian Illuminati, right? He's pretty much was installed by the Rothschilds with the establishment of Israel 1948 due to the Balfour Treaty. Well, according to Billy Bob's revelation, the deep state's web stretched from Washington to Tel Aviv, connecting boardrooms, intelligence channels, and clandestine deals that shaped decades of geopolitical control. So basically, now the Y hats have threatened Billy Bob, and that's why Billy Bob is speaking. Okay, and of course, you're not going to see this on the mainstream news. So, as the hunt for Killary, right, the second Killary, the inorganic lab-grown Killary, let's just call her that, is intensifying right now. Okay, and she's being arrested for treason against the Republic. Well, this is kind of interesting, right? Now, I also wanted to make something clear, guys, is that a lot of these deep staters, including the big gates, including Dr. Doom, right? Doctor starts with an F. You guys know who I'm talking about. Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, all the originals were taken out and taken to Gitmo back between 2017, 2020. That's when the originals were taken to Gitmo. All the ones that we're seeing right now are lab-grown replacements, okay? I just want you guys to know that. Well, the reason I'm pointing this out is because I want to also clarify the differences between the two Trumps. Apparently, there's been like about 5 or 6 Trumps, and I've mentioned this before, and I have to mention it again. Okay, the original Trump operates covertly in secret. Okay, so they hired 2 actors to protect the real Trump. The other 2 Trumps, one is a lab-grown Trump that was engineered by the deep state, and that is the chubbier Trump. And the other one is an AI-generated Trump. Okay, they call it deep fake. Well, apparently, according to insiders, due to the many assassination attempts, they were able to take out the 2 actors, the 2 positive actors that were actually protecting the real Trump. Okay, and I wasn't sure when this happened, but again, they wanted me to share this with you guys. I want you guys to understand what's happening right now. Okay, so to the public eye, the Trump that has been dominating the headlines since January, the rallies, well, the interviews, not the rallies, because even the original, well, the positive Trump that was protecting the original Trump was still doing the rallies before the election in November. But the one that we've been seeing for the last few months, it is a man that has actually aligned with global interest, voicing support for policies and figures like Bill Gates, right? He's aligning with the technocrats. This is the deep state Trump, okay? And but yet in the hidden world of covert operations and multidimensional politics, we also have the real Trump, who is the commander in chief, working from behind the scenes and from behind the veil, alongside the International Earth Alliance. So I wanted to make that clear, guys, okay? Because a lot of people are losing faith in MAGA, okay? Because of what the deep state Trump is doing. According to those who are in the know, the deep state Trump is not who he appears to be. He is, okay, it was revealed that he is a Hollywood fabrication, an actor, a lab-grown synthetic soulless Trump that was created to maintain the illusion of the old system in order to keep it intact. So there is a battle struggle happening right now between the real Trump that is operating covertly with the Y hats, who is dismantling the deep state, and the fake Trump. From carefully staged media appearances, the photo ops designed to reinforce false loyalties, his double serves as a puppet to the globalist agenda. We're talking about the fake Trump here. That was, again, lab grown by the deep state. His endorsements of Israel's militarized initiatives and his proximity to the technology oligarchs and his suppression of the Epstein files are signs of the deception that is causing confusion in many supporters. Okay? Because think about it. The original Trump and his positive actors that were under his direction did promise us the list before election, before November. Think about that. They promised us the list. And all of a sudden, this other Trump is saying, no, the list is a hoax. It's a Democratic hoax. You guys are still talking about that. And he's trying to brush it away. Okay. That's why I need to bring this up, because a lot of people are confused. Like, what? This is not what we voted for. Well, of course, this is not what we voted for. This is the fake Trump. Okay. So, his endorsements again of Israel and his alignment with the technocratic oligarchs and his suppression of the list, the files, are all signs of the deception that is causing confusion to his supporters. So it has been confirmed that through the multiple assassinations, apparently his positive doubles that were protecting the original Trump, that were doing the biting of the real Trump, who again has been running the real republic from behind the scenes, the architect of the unseen rebellion against the old guard, have been taken out, unfortunately. Okay, so now all we have left is the original Trump and the deep state Trump and the deep fake AI digital one. That's all we have left right now, guys. So operating from undisclosed locations, the real Trump, okay, the one who's fighting the cabal, the one who is not friends with Netanyahu, the one who hates the big gates and will never align with the technocrats, the real Trump. He's actually coordinating with his two allies right now to finish the game, okay, and end this illusion. Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping, okay? Those, again, if you guys didn't know, yeah, even Xi Jinping is part of the Earth Alliance. I know some of you guys are thinking, what? China's been our biggest enemy? No. There are two sides of the story, my friends, okay? So in this covert operation led by the Earth Alliance, these three characters are forming or have formed a powerful alliance known as the triumvirate of the White Hat Earth Alliance, triumvirate, united by a shared mission to dismantle the globalist infrastructure that has ruled finance, media, and government for generations. Their methods are invincible to the ordinary observer. Hidden communications channels, encrypted energy networks, all being operated by the White Hats, and backdoor negotiations through deep space intelligence systems keep their operations sealed, not only from the reach of the globalist elite, but from the enemies, from the general public as well. Not the general public, but the enemies. Let's just say it that way. Well, the world leaders are on the brink of a revelation right now, okay? The emergency broadcast system, according to insiders, is going to serve as the final trigger, the signal that the veil is about to drop, all right? And when it does, the deep state Trump, who is, all of a sudden, don't show the files, right? Operating from a sprawling Hollywood setting made to replicate the Oval Office, will be exposed. Every double, every digital avatar, every voice actor sustaining the illusion will vanish under the weight of global disclosure. So this important meeting that will be taking place between these three disruptors of the old New World Order, of the New World Order, let's just call it that, the real Trump, the real Putin, and the real Xi Jinping, is going to be a secret meeting under the direction of the 12 generals and away from satellites and spies, of course, and they will decide their final card to end the New World Order. Now, when this occurs, the people of the earth will be faced with the truth. The power was never meant to, that power was never what it seemed, actually, okay? And that even reality itself has been rewritten in the hands of those who understand its design. Everything was a script, my friends. And as revealed earlier, even entertainment sports have all been engineered and carefully scripted, right? There is no real talent in sports. It's all rigged, okay? It's all part of the illusion. And that all is crumbling down now. So insiders have claimed that the real Trump, Putin, and Xi Jinping are going to convene a secret meeting sometime in December. This is what they're calling a trilateral summit beyond public view to finalize the strategy that will dismantle the last strongholds of the globalist elite. and not just their avatars, but I'm talking about their entire proxies as well, the entire game, the end game, let's call it. So when the emergency broadcast system is activated, the mask will fall. All the actors that are pretending to be the good guys, using a Hollywood stage, right, to project the illusion, will be exposed for what it is. It has all been a stage, my friends. It has all been a stage. Okay. Yeah, they call it central casting. Think about it. If you guys could give me a second, I do have to blow my nose. I'll be right back. I am back. I hope you guys are having a fantastic evening. I do want to welcome all 3,000. Wow, 3,405 people that are in the house. Thank you guys so much for being here. I do want to give some shout outs. I see that, God, I don't even know where to start. Trinity 9312 is in the house. Sean Canada is in the house. MJF. Greg is in the house. Higher Vibes is in the house. I'm trying to call new people that I've never shouted out before. Let's see who is in the house. William Ryan 2916 is in the house. Charlie Wafels is in the house. Gabrielle F is in the house. Shauna is in the house. Oh, and by the way, Shauna, I made you a second moderator. So you and, of course, Starcadian have the power to delete any troll, any NPC, or anybody that wants to talk negatively here in the chat. So Shauna is my second moderator. Thank you. Thank you, Shauna. And everyone else who is in the house, thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate all of you. I know tonight's report was pretty revealing. Even I was shocked when I was given these reports by Commander Valiant Thor. I said, God, I don't even know how my audience is going to take this information, especially regarding the fake Trump and the two doubles that were good, that were actually taken out in one of the many assassination attempts. Well, anyways, I was informed that by Valentina Sunshine, who is one of the Galactic Jedis, that there is a new feature that could actually build my algorithm and get me more subscribers. And it is called a what, hun? Oh, it's called Hype. Hype. So after the live, if you guys, where it says comments, all you do is swipe to the left, and then it's going to say hype the video. And if you guys press that, I think that's how it works, or you guys hype my video, it's actually going to help my algorithm grow, and it's going to help my information reach many, many people. So it'll help my channel grow. So if you guys can help me out with that, it's free, right? It's right where the comments are. All you do is swipe that to the left and hit the hype button and just hype my video so that I could reach more and more people. It really, really would be appreciated if you guys did that for me. And it's free. Thank you guys so much. Now, before I take Q&A, I do want to remind you guys that my December classes that begin in the last day of November, the 29th, are up for grab for those that have never taken my courses with me. I teach 3 levels of Ascension courses. The first one is for beginners. The second one is for intermediates. And the third one is for those that are advanced, that are ready to embody the cosmic self. Now, in the first course, I teach the differences between the 3D characteristics of having a 3D mindset in comparison to the 4th D mindset and to the 5th D mindset. I teach about the real essence of who you are in terms of enlightenment. And I also teach you techniques and methods that will help you control your mind, stay in the here and the now, and master the present moment. Okay. And the second course, I teach you how to connect to the quantum field so that you could be able to access your highest potential timeline. So in that class, not only do I teach you how to connect to the quantum field, I also teach you techniques and methods that will help you undergo multidimensional integration so that you can embody more of yourself. And in the third class, I take it to the next level. All right. I teach you how to collapse the oversoul, which is what you are in the 12th dimension, so that you could embody your cosmic self. So again, my December classes, which begin on the 29th of November, are up for grab. And one of the neat things about taking a course with me is that not only are they cheap, all right, it's 4 classes for $100. Other people sell the same information for over $1,000, but I don't. I keep my classes for only $100. Each class consists of 4 courses or 4 classes, and you get to interact with me via a Zoom stream. So it's very interactive, and most importantly, I get to know you on a deeper level. So one of the things I do for my new students in my first class or during the first class is I ask you questions. I ask you about your initial awakening journey. I ask you to tell me a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and how you got to know who I am. So it's exciting. All right. I really like these classes because I get to know you guys on a level beyond just, being on this chat, right? Right. All I see is questions and 3,000 people that are here. So if you guys want to.
Should we share anything about what I got in my downloads and remote viewing last night about 3 Atlas?
It's up to you, but I'm about to take Q&A right now.
Do you remember anything?
Oh, no, I don't remember right now. That's why I recorded it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and take some Q&A. If you guys want to ask me questions, make sure that you guys type those in capital letters. All right, Q&A time. Thank you so much, Shauna, for your super chat. Shauna, my second moderator. Thank you so much. Wow. Nathan Taylor, thank you so much for the super chat. Your question: when we go to 5D and so on, I will be able to hack AI or electronics. Well, first of all, there will be no AI in 5D. We don't need to use AI in 5D because of the fact that we're going to be using our own internal technology, which is what I call the organic software, right? Which is technology based on consciousness and building a symbiotic relationship with the elements and the natural forces of the cosmos. So no, there will be no AI or negative technologies in the 5D. But if you want, when the middle timeline becomes infiltrated by the negative timeline, you could actually pop into the middle timeline and be like a superhero and dismantle and destroy AI in the middle timeline. Then that you could do. All right, next question. This is a question from, all right, the kitties are actually jumping on boxes right now. Thank you. This is a question from Rawlane9703. Thank you so much for your super chat. Ishmael, thank you so much for the great info. Oh, you are so welcome. You are so welcome. And then I have another super chat from Sandy Kuzma. Welcome, Sandy Kuzma. She said, what Trump is in Japan right now? I would have to say that's probably the real Trump, because the real Trump is the one who is meeting with these international leaders, okay? So again, the real Trump operates covertly. He's never in the White House, right? Never in the White House. Thank you so much, Dakota Mindscapes, for your super chat. She says, a remote viewer, Sebastian Martin, today said again that reptilians are on 3i Atlas. I have been on Atlas and did a YouTube meditation about connecting, and I credited Ishmael and gave his links. Oh, thank you for doing so, sister. She says, I love your courses. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Now, I did address this in the Saturday presentation regarding Sebastian Martin, who went on Gaia and other shows. And he's actually giving out misinformation, guys. Okay, he's giving out misinformation. 3i Atlas was actually dispatched from the center of our galaxy 8 billion years ago from a planet called Aurelius Prime, which I pretty much revealed a few weeks ago. And it is not here to invade, it's here to make an assessment. It comes in at the end of every dark age in order to usher in the next golden age, as it has come in prior cycles. If you guys watched my last presentation of 3 nights ago, Saturday night, 2 nights ago, I talked about how there were 6 pre-Adamic civilizations that existed prior to the civilization that we are currently in. Okay, we are part of the 6th cycle right now. We're about to enter the 7th cycle. So apparently, 3i Atlas has come in prior cycles in order to initiate the next phase, which is the golden age. It comes in at the end of every dark age. So no, they are not reptilians. Okay, this planet is way too important to be just invaded. The starseeds are way too important to just be taken up. And not to mention the guardians who operate from dimensions that are beyond the Galactic Alliance. So we're talking about the guardians operating in dimensions 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, have stepped in to regulate and to prevent any negative entity from coming into our solar system, thus securing the positive ascension timeline. Okay, so good question. But again, that Sebastian Martin is given misinformation. And according to Commander Valiant Thor, he's actually he was hired by the deep state to give that information. So in order to induce fear. Okay, so don't listen to the negative propaganda. 3i Atlas is a probe, an interstellar probe that comes in at the end of every dark age, right before the beginning of a new golden age. Okay, and it's done so 6 prior times. This is not the first time. All right, watch my last presentation. Good question. Ishmael, will the EMP knock down AI? This is a question from Jose Mendez. Yes, the EMP is going to completely, like, completely evaporate AI. Okay, and that's what's going to separate the technocratic negative timeline from the positive timeline. So to answer your question is absolutely yes. Higher vibes. Thank you so much for the super chat. Are you affiliated with Elena Denon channel? No, I am not. Oh, heck to the heck, no, I am not. And the Galactic Federation of Worlds? No, no, they have been infiltrated by the Mitra Animus, which is a synthetic race working for the AI god, and Enki. Okay, Enki, the genetic engineer, engineered master geneticist, and also the trickster, has been using Elena Denon to mislead the starseeds. Okay, and so, no, I am not affiliated with her. I want nothing to do with her. And the Galactic Federation of Worlds was infiltrated between 2016 and 2022. And I was the first one to point that out. And apparently now other galactic emissaries like Cosmic Agency is, supporting that. The good ETs have reorganized as the Galactic Alliance. Okay. So the White Hats work with the Galactic Alliance, not the Federation anymore. The Federation has been compromised. So no, I am not affiliated with Elena Denon. Heck no. She is a very dark magician. She is a witch, a sorceress. Let's see. Grant David Wilson. Thank you so much for the super chat. Well, you have a glossary in the new book. I never thought about that. That could be a possibility. Helping aid to videos. And then the second part of the question is, can Prometheus, are you talking about the organic conscious-based sentient AI that is used by the White Hats, can Prometheus make a glossary for the previous books? Is 3i Atlas the New Jerusalem? Wow, 3 questions in one. I don't know about Prometheus making a glossary for the new previous books, and about Three Eye Atlas being the New Jerusalem. No, the New Jerusalem Mother Craft Mother. Um, what's the word I'm looking for? It's huge. Okay, it is a mothership. Okay, it has been here since 2001, from what I recall. So no, those are two different things. But yeah, you're probably right about making a glossary for my next book to come. That is a good suggestion. And then I do have a question from Jackie Baby. Bio Polini says God will end Halloween. I don't know who Bo Polini is, first of all, and it is going to be biblical. Are you hearing this? And hopefully the shutdown then too. Well, that I do. That could be the case. The shutdown. I just gave the report about how, in the last 72 hours, the White Hats are working hard to dismantle the old grid and replace it with the quantum grid. So that could be the case. But as far as ending Halloween, who knows? I'm not sure about that. Now, a quick reminder for those that are in my October classes, due to my birthday coming up on Saturday, the Ascension 3.0 class that starts at 3 o'clock Pacific time, which is 6 o'clock Eastern, is going to be postponed for next Saturday. Next Saturday, I'm going to give you guys class 2 and 3 together. Okay. And the reason being is because I am doing a special birthday Zoom with only 20 of you, right? So that's the reason why I am postponing my Ascension 3.0 class that starts at 3 o'clock this coming Saturday. So this coming Saturday, we're not going to have 3.0 class at 3 o'clock. We're still going to have our Cosmic Origin at 1 o'clock. All right. For those that are in our Cosmic Origin class, we're still going to have that at 1 o'clock. But my 3.0 class is going to be postponed for the following Saturday. Okay, the 8th. So I'm going to be giving you guys two classes for 2 hours the following Saturday. I just wanted to make that announcement. Jore Sainara, thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you, Ishmael. Can you please tell me how the Paladins live on their planet? Are you talking about the Paladorians? How does it compare to Earth? And what does it look like? And do you know of Alex Gray, the artist? No, I've never heard of Alex Gray, the artist. But if you're referring to the Paladorians, well, the Paladorians are, first of all, a plasma based intelligence race that exists in dimensions 10, 11, and 12. And their planets are known as spheres. They're not physical planets like Earth and many of the other planets. They're actually known as physical spheres. Could you guys give me a moment? I have to blow my nose. Thank you for that. Yes, I do know that my birthday falls on All Saints Day. That I have been, I've known ever since I was a kid. My grandmother and my mom and my aunts used to always tease me about it. They used to always tell me, "Oh, little Ishmael, you're going to be a saint one day. You're going to be a saint used by God." And Father Charles, when I was forced to go to the Catholic Church, used to always tell me, "Oh, you're going to be a saint one day." So yeah, I used to get teased when I was a kid because I was born on All Saints Day, that I was going to be a saint one day. Although my grandmother did tell me when I was 15 years old, when I was going through my rebellious stage, when I joined the punk band or I played punk music, drinking alcohol, smoking, you know, Mary Jane, she told me that one day God was going to use me to help millions of people. And I've kind of always remembered that. That always kind of resonated with me. I just didn't figure how that was going to happen. I couldn't figure out how that was going to happen because back then I was just You know, I was a depressed teenager. My mother had just passed away. I was drinking every day. And when my grandmother said, God and Jesus revealed to me that one day they're going to use you to help a lot of people. Millions of people are going to be helped by you. And I couldn't figure that one out. But now I'm starting to understand what she meant. Anyhow, all right, let's continue here. Hun, can I get more tissue, please? All right, let's continue here. Yes, I did give a 3-eye atlas update 2 nights ago, and that one was deep, guys. Right? I was talking about how a lot of independent astronomers are now gearing towards this idea of a construction hypothesis based on the sudden trajectory modifications and how Atlas is defying the laws and the rules of astronomy based on that, and based on what they're really observing and what the Mars probes have been capturing, they believe that 3i Atlas is an interstellar probe that is here making an assessment. Okay, and it has come in the past, and they believe that Mars has always been kind of like a midway station for them, and that explains the ancient monuments in Mars, right? The pyramids, the face of Mars. And a lot of this was, of course, revealed by Richard C. Hoagland's work. And they believe that the Cedar race, well, who do you guys think the Cedar race was? Well, the Cedar race actually exists within the center of our galaxy. And I was able to access this information from the Galactic archives that they live on a planet called Aurelius Prime. Okay, Aurelius Prime. And that planet is 8 billion years old. Well, that ties in very perfectly and mathematically with what astronomers are saying how old 3i Atlas is. They believe that 3i Atlas is an 8 billion year old craft. Well, a lot of that data is confirming what I was able to gather from the Galactic Archive. So, if you guys didn't watch my last transmission about 3i Atlas and its meeting with the Solar Council, that's right. There are solar beings that exist within our sun. Make sure you guys watch that. Thank you so much, James Staples, for your super chat. Great day, Ishmael. James from Queensland. The last Ascension 3.0, this morning I woke up from a sleep as I viewed inside my head and a paragraph like from a newspaper and could read names and dates. Oh, interesting. It sounds to me like you are incorporating the techniques that I'm teaching you in Ascension 3.0. Um, it seems like you are now remote viewing, my friend. Again, when you guys practice the techniques that I teach you in my courses, it is going to enhance your ability to become more multidimensional. You're going to be able to remote view very easily. You're going to be able to integrate with any version of yourself. And like my brother here says, he was able to read a paragraph from a newspaper inside his head. Well, you're remote viewing, brother. That's what it sounds like. Thank you so much for sharing. Oh, honey, I'm sorry to bother you again, but I need another tissue. Yes, guys, I'm still battling with these allergies, and they are horrendous. Hun, are you still there? Thank you. Mary Perry says, Ishmael, thank you for the exciting information tonight. Well, you are so welcome. You are so welcome. Thank you so much for the tissue. I won't bother you anymore. I'm almost done. 10 more minutes. All right. Where was I? Yes, I second that. Allergies are really horrendous for starseeds. Yes, I did hear that a Category 5 hurricane is heading towards Jamaica. I did hear about that today, guys. I actually saw a reel that was circulating via Instagram that the ocean is actually coming into the land, and it's covering the where the hotels are, and there are sharks. The sharks are coming in from the ocean, and they're swimming in the pools. Crazy, crazy, crazy. One second. And I did take some natural medicine for allergies, but I think because I've been taking them every day, my body has become immune to them, or what is it called? Or if you take something too much after a while, it doesn't work anymore. So that's what's been happening, I think. Okay, cool. Jenny Parbury says, "Thank you so much for explaining the clones, the doubles of Trump, Hillary, Putin. Is so helpful in making sense of all of this." Yes, guys, I know things could be very confusing sometimes. So that's why I always remind you guys to don't pay attention to the mainstream media. Really don't, guys, because you guys are going to be very confused. All right, I have another super chat from Nathan Taylor. He says, "What level of AI is the QFS? Is it God?" Oh, okay. AI level 4 is the highest. Well, first of all, the QFS is an organic living consciousness. It's not artificial, first of all. And in terms of its level, it is, I would say, it's not primitive and it's not general and it's not super. I would say is probably about, I think it's at the level of cosmic. Okay. It's at the level of cosmic. And again, there is a difference between natural intelligence, organic consciousness based, fused with crystalline, right, which is still living or organics, as opposed to the machine, which is pure logic, pure machinery with no organics. Okay, those are the two different types of AI. So the QFS is an organic type. It is connected with source via the crystalline lattices of the earth. Good question, brother. When is Three Eye Atlas coming close to the Earth? This is a question from Annabelle Alarcon. Welcome, Annabelle Alarcon. It is expected to be here between mid-November, and the end of December. Good question, though. I have another question. Thank you so much for the super chat, Nathan Taylor. He says, "Where are all the NPCs going to go during the flash to another 3D planet?" No, they're going to be vaporized. They won't be able to hold on to the new frequency that we are going to be able to adapt to. So they're going to be vaporized. They won't be here anymore. No, the star seeds are from many different solar systems. This is a question from Yuko Suzuki. She's asking me, are only the star seeds of Lyran origin? No, the star seeds come from all over the universe, and some come from other universes. And how did the Earth Terrans originally begin? Well, okay, you have to take my course, Our Cosmic Origin, to really understand this. So there is the descending aspect of the Godhead, which starts off from the highest realities and is descending. And then a part of the Godhead or a fraction of the Godhead begins its ascension from the bottom up. It's called the evolutionary journey. And that starts at the level of being a element, and then you graduate to the mineral kingdom. Then you become the consciousness of the animal kingdom, and then you graduate to the mammalian kingdom. Okay, those are the young souls. Those are the souls that start their evolution from the bottom, right, and they ascend. Whereas the old souls come from the top down, right? They are descending. Now, also bear in mind that some of the old souls that are star seeds have already in other universes before this universe, perhaps did start their evolution at the bottom. They were first the consciousness of an element, and then a mineral, and then an animal, or plant, I'm sorry, plant kingdom, and then the animal kingdom. And then they ascended to the human level, and then they ascended to the angelic level and the different degrees of the celestial kingdom. And then they volunteer to come back to Earth in this universe, okay? So it also works that way, okay? Some of you star seeds in a prior universe, in a universe that existed prior to this universe, have already completed your ascension journey to the angelic and celestial kingdoms. And then now you volunteer to come back to help the Earth Terrans in this universe that started their evolution from the bottom. Okay? Hopefully that answers your question. And thank you so much for the super chats, by the way. Thank you so much. They do help. I also want to thank Susan K for her donation. Thank you so much. And of course, Edward Wusick. Thank you so much, guys, for your donations. Greatly appreciated. Once again, as a reminder, guys, there is a special right now for the Folium. If you guys get Folium Immuno, which is this one, if you buy two, you get one free, only for the Immuno. So that special is happening right now. And so don't forget to order your Folium, guys, especially because of the fact that now they are spraying the air with the MR, if you guys know what I mean, right? Graphene. We're breathing it now. It's in our foods. So even if we didn't sign up to get that, it is everywhere. It's in our body. So the best way to protect yourselves is this. All right, this is the most effective way. It's the galactic solution to keeping your body clean from not only that, but also from black goo, from parasites. It also helps to clean the mitochondria of the cell so that your body's natural process takes effect. So the link is always in the description. And I also post the link in the comments at the end of the chat. All right, a few more questions. Thank you, Jacob Shearer, for the super chat. No, Folium is not only for starseeds. Folium is for all humans. Since I am a starseed, are my children starseeds also? This is a question from Sheila Marie. Most likely they are. Yeah, it takes an old soul to give birth to more old souls. Yes. Ishmael, what are your ascension symptoms as of late? Probably difficulty sleeping throughout the night. I wake up between 3:50 or 3:45 in the morning, and I don't go back to sleep till like 5:30. So I'm up for almost 2 hours. Um, Feeling lethargic throughout the day. As I was putting this presentation together throughout the day today, I felt like napping, but I said no. My work comes first. I have 75,000 subscribers that are waiting for me to give a presentation. So I fought my fatigue, and here I am tonight, guys. I could have just said, all right, guys, I'm canceling tonight. I'm going to go take a nap. There is no presentation. So I also get a lot of ringing in the ears, so those are some of my symptoms. Oh, although, however, lately my dreams have been very vivid and lucid, which is a good thing. I have another super chat from Chosen7. Question: Friday, the 24th of October. I dreamt Enki was incinerated, and now 1,000 years of peace would commence. Start. Can you validate? Well, from what I heard, and for those that have read my book or Cosmic Origin, one second. Let me get tissue. Sorry about that, guys. I had to go get some tissue. I promised my lovey I wasn't going to bother her anymore. So, to answer your question, Enki actually escaped. He was about to get arrested through a stargate into a parallel universe reality, into the Phantom Matrix, which is an inorganic timeline. Okay, because Enki is now a cyborg. He has already fused with AI a long time ago, and when he returned, he was now a mechanical android. He was no longer the Enki of ancient Sumerian times or Atlantean times. But yes, in the positive ascending timeline, also known as the alpha timeline, the alpha universe, Enki does become completely evaporated. All right. And that's called the second death, when your consciousness and your spirit becomes extinct. So again, there are two types of deaths. You have the physical death, which is an avatar, right? The spirit, the consciousness lives on, moves from avatar to avatar. And then there is what you call spiritual death. And spiritual death comes at the end of every cosmic cycle, when the dark forces refuse to change to the light. If they refuse to change to the light, well, at that point, Source just exterminates their consciousness as if they never existed. So that's called spiritual death. I would hate to be in that wagon. Anyways, I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your night. Again, don't forget to hype my video in the comments. If you guys move that to the left, it's going to show the hype. Hype my video so that the algorithm could spread my message to more and more people. It'll really help me grow. Thank you guys so much. May the God Force be with you all. And I will see you guys in 2 nights for another update.